It was them. So don't look at us, Mr. Prime Minister. Look at yourselves. Because the Eastern Caribbean Central Plan has decided to take over the Bank of Antigua. It was not the government or the UPP government idea, Madam Speaker, to take over the Bank of Antigua. It was Sir Dwight Venner, the governor of the Central Bank, and Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who came up with the idea of a takeover by the indigenous banks. The fact is, the Minister of Finance of Antigua merely sat there and he shook his head in agreement after his idea of a takeover by a Trinidad bank was rejected. The Minister of Finance of Antigua and Barbuda remained mostly silent as the details were worked out, Madam Speaker. Embarrassment at the fact that the central bank would not allow any greater participation by the UPP government. Madam Speaker, I know what I'm speaking about. We in the Antigua Labour Party know what we're speaking about. Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, he didn't call Baldwin Spencer. He called Lester Bird. He called Lester Bird, Madam Speaker. This is a fact. Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, he knows that. Because after he finished speaking with Lester Bird, and he put down the phone with Lester Bird, he called Prime Minister Spencer. And he said, Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, he knows this is the truth. Asked Lester Bird for his cooperation, and Lester Bird gave it. And this is why Lester Bird said, and I quote, "The ALP welcomes the recall of Parliament, the highest decision body in the land, because we want to ensure that the Stanford assets do not fall into foreign hands, that the authorities of this country have not vetted and approved, and with whom there is no contractual understanding." Madam Speaker, Lester Bird and the Labour Party was concerned especially about the lands around the airport, which we agreed could have been developed for specific purposes and would benefit. But we must ask ourselves today, who created this mess, Madam Speaker? And who can move Antigua from this mess? That is the question. What have you done for 4.5 years? What have you completed? Look around, every single hotel, every single school, every single building was built during the Antigua Labour Party. What are you trying to do? Destroy it. So after 5 years, Madam Speaker, of record high negligence, record high incompetence, record high crime, record high taxation, record high cost of living, record high health care tragedies, record high human suffering, record low investments, record low job creation. The UPP refuses to accept the people's desire for change. For months, Madam Speaker, it played around with the election date, delaying and delaying and delaying.
Honourable Member. Honourable Member. Honourable Member, we are here to debate a single motion, and I will allow no debate on any other topic. So if you intend to continue, please confine the debate to the motion. Honourable members, honourable members. Honourable members, the motion and nothing but the motion. This is not an election speech. Honourable Honorable Member for St. Peter? Honorable Member for St. Peter, are you through?
I'll be guided accordingly, Madam Speaker. In principle, Madam Speaker, there's absolutely nothing wrong with reconvening Parliament today in these circumstances. But we have a serious issue with the timing, Madam Speaker, and the sincerity of the specific course of action being pursued by the government, Madam Speaker. And so we welcome the opportunity of being here today. Madam Speaker, we have had for 5 years of governance, Madam Speaker, in this country, which we have had vindictiveness, where people in investment have been afraid to come into this country. And Madam Speaker, the UPP have invited us here today to participate in this charade, in this unconscionable grab of Alan Stanford's land as the final act of desperation, calculated, Madam Speaker, to secure one last chance to try to win the March the 12th election. But it won't work. And while the UPP wants to acquire for public purpose, Madam Speaker, 250 acres of Stanford's land spread over 48 parcels before March the 12th election, all indications are, Madam Speaker, that this will only frustrate and eventually force the closure of the very Stanford companies that should remain open in the public interest. You acquire land, Madam Speaker, only for public interest, for public good. I want the Prime Minister and the Attorney General to tell me today, what is the public interest and public good acquiring ongoing businesses that have already been employing people, that have already been operating and providing gainful employment? It is not an open piece of land that you are acquiring, Madam Speaker. Many of the assets are still acquiring ongoing jobs.
Honourable Member, do you have a copy of the motion?
Yes, Madam Speaker. The responsibility, Madam Speaker, before us today is to be thoughtful. It is to be honest. It is to be innovative. And that's what you would expect a government to do, to protect the economic interests that may be affected by the Stanford fallout, Madam Speaker. But instead, the UPP has once again jumped behind the wheels of its vengeance bandwagon, blundered on the wrong track, and moving in the wrong direction, speeding in the wrong direction, Madam Speaker, because the overriding motivation is to try to win votes today by getting back at Alan Stanford, under the false pretense, Madam Speaker, of defending the national interests. What national interests? Madam Speaker, I want now to examine the facts. With your permission, Madam Speaker, I want to spend some time going through the details of what is going on the public record in this most unfortunate manner, Madam Speaker. And with your permission, I want to read from the Securities and Exchange Commission in the United States, which has charged Sir R. Alan Stanford and his 3 companies for orchestrating a fraudulent multi-billion-dollar investment scheme centering on an $8 billion CD program.
Do you have copies for the House this time?
Right here, Madam Speaker.
Please. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I would like to have the common courtesy to hear myself and not to hear that dumbbell from Rural North.
Honourable Member?
He's really irritating me.
Honourable Member.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
You will withdraw that statement.
Definitely. I'm sorry, sir. Listen and learn, man. You didn't even pass any GCE.
Honourable Members.
You had MT.
Honourable Members. Honourable Members.
He's irritating me, Madam Speaker.
I think you're playing to the gallery.
No, I asked the gallery please to keep down the noise so I can hear myself.
And then you proceed to entertain them.
And you are now in the gallery, Madam Speaker.
You are proceeding to entertain them.
But I haven't heard you tell them to be quiet.